Chapter 23, Cosmopolitan Photo Shoot. The next 6 or 7 months were hectic. With 2 babies to look after, sleep was something we both missed. We'd finally moved into the house, so Jane and me were both busy decorating and really making it ours. All of that, and the work too, it was very tiring. I didn't think that I could cope with anything else happening. I was at work when a message came through to me on the phone to phone Jane. I ran up to Trafalgar Square where I could get mobile phone signal. Working underground does mean friends and family can't contact you, so they have to phone the station and leave a message for me. My mind was racing. I was panicking. Were the babies okay? Was Jane okay? Was she pregnant again? My hands were shaking as I hit speed dial and called Jane. I'm nominated for Woman of the Year. I'm in the final. Jane's voice was not just excited. I swear she could have shattered glass. Woman magazine haven't contacted us again, have they? I asked, puzzled. Kevin? Jane was using her patient voice, the one that translates anything as shut up and listen to what I'm telling you. She continued, it is Cosmopolitan magazine. They have an annual Woman of the Year award ceremony and our story is nominated in the Best Love Story category. I was not as excited as Jane. I didn't get so excited about the media anymore, but this was not about me. This was about Jane being recognised for everything she'd done to help rebuild my broken mind, giving me my life in a way I could never have dreamed of. I did wonder how Cosmopolitan had found out about the story. I figured that the press agency I'd spoken before the Woman article was published maybe have talked to other high-profile magazines. Feeling relieved that everything was all right, I went back to work. I had left my colleague Gary looking quite nervous and worried, so he was relieved that everything was all right as well. The other person at work I told was my supervisor, Greg. Greg knew all my background story and often commented that I should write a book or make a film about me. He really did seem like a PR guru or manager. Jane had passed my shifts on to Cosmopolitan as we were both needed for the photo shoot over in West London near Parsons Green. District line, I instantly commented. Once you start working for LUL, the tube map is imprinted in your brain. The day of the photo shoot arrived. Jane was really excited. I was quite excited too. We loaded up the car, got the twins settled in their car seats, programmed the sat-nav, headed for the photographic studios. You have arrived at your destination, the sat-nav announced authoritatively. We parked up and got the twins into their pushchair and headed to the entrance. My attention was immediately grabbed by the Mercedes executive car sitting outside the studio. Its windows were blacked out and it looked as if it was owned by a celebrity. Jane wondered who it might belong to. I thought it might belong to a famous finalist. I just couldn't work out who. We gave our name to the receptionist, who telephoned through to the representative for Cosmopolitan. She arrived in reception just a minute or so later and instantly started cooing and fussing over Olivia and Louis. She thought they were adorable. She took us through to a hospitality area and offered us something to eat and drink. It didn't take long before I had a cup of tea in my hand. There was certainly a lot going on. There were rows and rows of clothing, hair, makeup stylists rushing around, people carrying photographic equipment, lights everywhere. The twins were engrossed by it all. Nobody was too busy though to come over and fuss over babies. Jane pointed out that someone else was having their pictures taken. It was Katie Piper. She was a former model who'd been raped and severely disfigured with acid. She'd just launched a charity that helped and supported people with burns and scars. As Jane mentioned her name, I remembered the case from a couple of years earlier. It'd been horrific and I'd felt really sorry for her. It was great to see her doing so well and helping others too. It was not long before the stylist came over to us and started getting us ready for the photo shoot. I was put into a quite tight fitted shirt. It took me back to getting ready to go clubbing with Alan and the lads. While we were getting changed, one of the Cosmopolitan staff sat with us and the babies. That way the twins would get used to their strange face before being left alone with her. Louis, in particular, got upset when meeting new people. Jane and me went to get photographed. We were trying not to laugh too much as we heard this stylish high-fashion magazine staff member talking nonsense to Olivia and Louis. I could not wait to get out of the shirt. It was ridiculously tight. I felt quite breathless from holding my stomach in so much. While I got back into my much more comfortable t-shirt, I noticed Jane chatting with Katie Piper. I sauntered over just as Katie was cooing over the twins. She'd got a little too inside Louis's personal space and he started to cry. "Oh, don't worry," I said cheerfully. "Louis's not good around strange faces." As I said those words, I realised just how bad they could have sounded and started to go red and just wished the floor would swallow me up. I really hoped that Katie knew what I meant strange faces were just people who were strangers to him. Just as I was trying to work out the best way to get my foot out of my mouth, Katie was called away to do more photos. A few moments later, one of the journalists came over. She had to write a short summary of the story and wanted to get all the facts correct. As we chatted, I asked who would be judging the competition, thinking maybe readers or the editor. "Oh," she replied, "we have a celebrity panel lined up." I was surprised to hear that, but hopefully that the celebrities would see the amazing love and life Jane had given me. I wanted her to win because I wanted the world to see what she'd done for me. As we were leaving the studio, we were given the date and time for the award ceremony. I was working, typical. Cosmopolitan magazine asked us not to mention the photo shoot and award. Jane looked at me and I looked at her. I mean, we'd only told family, close friends and one or two people at work. The only person we wish we could have told was Nan. She passed away a few months after the twins were born and was greatly missed by everyone. R.I.P. Nan. I was happy that she had a chance to cuddle her great-grandchildren. It was a few weeks and I was back at work when I got a message to phone Jane. Once again, I popped above ground to Trafalgar Square. I was working with Gary again. Our shifts coincided a lot. I phoned home and Jane answered straight away. I barely had time to say hello when Jane blurted out, "Kevin, guess what? We won the award." She was as excited as a small child with a bag of sweets and a puppy. Jane explained that Cosmopolitan had called to say that we'd won the Best Love Story award. They were telling us in advance because they needed to make sure we were both there on the night, but mainly make sure we were available for the next day too. I thought this was probably to make sure we were available for interviews and photo shoots. I had to start swapping shifts and getting time off work booked. This is difficult in many jobs, but it's even more difficult at London Underground because staffing levels are not just a suggestion or best practice. They are a legal requirement because we are safety critical. That means we are trained in safe and effective station evacuation procedures and dealing with emergency incidents. As the day went on, I watched women who walked through the station carrying magazines like Cosmopolitan. I wonder what they would say when they saw me grinning, my grinning mug on it, next to my stunningly beautiful wife. Would they be shocked? Happy? Would they think I just looked like the bloke in the magazine? As the awards got closer, Jane started panicking about what to wear, how she looked. To my eyes, she was as beautiful as ever, but Jane was worried that she wouldn't look as glamorous as all the celebrities and models because she carried a little bit of baby weight from her pregnancy. A few days before the awards, Jane was called again by the Cosmopolitan Awards organiser. She wanted to make sure we were both available the morning after the awards, as we were invited for morning tea with Samantha Cameron, wife of the British Prime Minister. David Cameron, number 10. Jane phoned me at work and once again I raced upstairs to call her back. "The morning after the awards, we've been invited to morning tea at number 10 Downing Street," Jane giggled excitedly. "Meeting John Major? Wow." "Kevin," sighed Jane, "it's tea with Samantha Cameron, the Prime Minister's wife. John Major hasn't been Prime Minister since the 1990s. There were still times when my brain injury showed, though. My brain still occasionally flipped back to 1996. But that didn't detract from how happy and excited I was. I thought about how proud Nan would be of us. I went back upstairs. I was working with Mummy Violet, and she was the first person I could tell about this, even though I wasn't meant to. I couldn't wait to get home and phone Mum to tell her too. I didn't want to call her from a mobile in case anyone overheard me, and we were under strict orders from Cosmopolitan not to tell anyone. and I still needed to get that day off work. When I got home, I sat down with a mug of tea, phoned Mum. "Guess who won the Woman of the Year Best Love Story?" I asked mischievously. "Not you." "Oh my, you have, haven't you?" Mum barely paused for breath before adding, "What do you win? Where do you have to go? This is wonderful news." So I started to explain the awards ceremony, the celebrity after party, and being put up in the Fizzle Hotel in Marble Arch. I then mentioned I needed the next day off because we were going for morning tea. "With who?" asked Mum. "Not the Queen." I stayed silent for maybe a bit longer than was necessary. Mum started to say something before I cut her off laughing. "No, Mum, not the Queen. But we're going with the other award winners to meet Samantha Cameron, number 10 Downing Street, for morning tea." Mum paused for a moment before uttering a very unusual for "Wow." Then saying quite gently, "Your nan would be very proud of you, both of you." We sat there in our respective homes, thinking about the strong and loving woman who had headed our family for years. Even after our death, she was never far from our thoughts.